What's going on, y'all? Good morning. Welcome to the What They Never Told Us podcast.
Hey, everybody.
It's your boy Russell IV, and welcome once again. Nearing the end of this season, and we back.
Got one to go.
One more to go. It's one more after this one, right? I'll be so confused.
One to go.
I swear I'll be so confused. How you doing this morning?
I'm good. I got up super early, so
Yeah, I was worried about you.
my energy level is slowly draining. I'm gonna need a nap.
You gonna be able to muster through?
Yeah, I got it.
I've been I got an early start. I got coffee,
Yeah.
caffeine. I was up early too, but I'm good.
Yeah, but you've already been down here playing with equipment and on Facebook.
Y'all, I lived out. Listen, one of my earliest careers I wanted to do was like a radio VJ, just playing music and talking. And I got to live that out today, and it was fun. It was fun. I think I'm gonna keep doing it. Every Friday. I think it's gonna be my Friday morning thing.
Oh.
How do you feel about it? How did you feel?
I'm not gonna be gone every Friday, so
is it a problem? What can I do while you're here? It's like, I'm here. You're not gonna do.
Yeah, no, it did feel a little weird. It was a little weird.
Yeah, I was going live. Like, it was something I was already doing. Like, you remember me being live playing music? Remember the DJ?
Uh-huh.
You know, it was like a thing I did. It bothers you though?
It was a little weird.
Elaborate. Come on, let's talk. We got a podcast. Let's
No, I just feel like it. I don't know. I think a part of it played into it wasn't something that we talked about. It was just like, oh, okay. And seeing you over here, down here with the stuff that we use and without me, I think it was weird for everybody. It was several people where's Brandi? It was just weird. It was not something I was prepared to see when I opened Facebook.
Is it problematic?
No, it was just weird.
Okay, you're good now.
Well, I wasn't upset.
Oh, okay. All right. I was trying to look at this is a problem.
No, it was just weird. It was weird seeing you down here alone.
So for everybody listening, yes, me and Brandi are a couple, but there are going to be a lot of times you see her and I'm nowhere around doing things that have nothing to do. She's going to be doing things that have nothing to do with me. And I know a lot of us on this platform are used to the duo, but we have ventures and things we do outside of one another, and music and doing those things. That's something I'm going to continue to do. It was fun. I had a lot of fun. I felt alive. It was good. So yeah, that was my morning. And what did you do this morning?
I had to take my son to his post-op surgical appointment. It's very technical. So
very elaborate stuff.
I had to drive out of town, and now I'm back.
Now you back. What we talking about today?
So today we had one of our listeners write in and ask us to talk about love languages.
What?
Something that I won't say well-versed in. I won't say that, but I was up on before our relationship began. And it's something that we talked about very early on in the beginning. Okay, what's your love language? I think, you had taken the quiz as a result of some prompting from marital counseling.
Like most divorced couples have has had this float across their desk at some point,
I had actually read the book, and I still have a copy of it. It's a great book. If you don't know what we're talking about, it's called The 5 Love Languages. It is by Gary Chapman. You can take the quiz at 5, that's the number 5, lovelanguages.com. To find out what your love language is, or you can get the book and you can go through there and see which one most speaks to you.
Shout out Gary Chapman. But honestly, it's rare that you come across and unearth a theory or breaking down something that I think has existed for a long time. Before we had a quiz for it, and before we had a book about it,
for sure,
there was this idea that how do you receive love? I don't think that's something I've ever thought about. Love was just love, and I don't think I ever thought about a different way that it's received or how you like to express it.
Yeah.
And before this existed, I think there's a lot of people who struggled in this area and just didn't have this resource. So for him to come up with something that's just so valuable and has almost been an adult relationships. I think most people have heard about this.
Yeah, if you haven't, I think it would benefit you to try to either again read the book or at least at the very least go and take the quiz. I think more than what it told me at the time about my partner, it told me more about myself. So like when I read the book, I was like, okay, I immediately saw that I fit into quality time as my love language. That is how I like to receive love. It means it's important for me to spend time with my significant other void of distractions. It's just us. But I don't think that I knew enough about that to express it. Like I knew what it felt like in the moment when I was with my significant other, how significant it felt, but I didn't know that it was my style of receiving love, if that makes sense. Like,
okay.
I knew that I loved to spend time with the people that I were with, but that it showed something about my personality and the way that I received love, had no idea. So the book awakened that in me and gave me the ability to then voice that. Like, yeah, I like it when we do all the other stuff, but it's really important to me for us to just spend time together, like sitting on the couch, taking a drive, taking a walk, whatever it is. That is important to me.
So for those of you guys who have not come across this or have no idea what this is, what is the 5 love languages? Let's do a quick synopsis really quick. So the idea behind this is that he's broken down the way we like to communicate and receive love into 5 different categories. Those are
words of affirmation,
boom,
quality time,
boom,
receiving gifts, acts of service, and physical touch.
Yes. And he also, throughout the book, there's a singles edition, there's a couples edition, there's a couple different variations to this book.
One specifically for men.
Yeah. So there's a couple different variations to this, but the one that I have was one designed for marriages, and they were talking about this couple who had been together for a really long time, and I think by all intents purposes they looked like they were a very happily married couple, but they were detailing how they did not feel that, and they had kind of hit a roadblock in their marriage because I'm trying to show you I love you, but for some strange reason you're not hearing that, you're not feeling that. And it's like, I'm giving my all. Why do you not feel loved?
And I think that most people, if you've been in enough relationships, you can identify with either part of that. And I don't even think longevity, so the time you spent in a relationship, necessarily is required to feel that. You can feel that very early on where maybe you're the person who feels like, something just ain't right. Mm-hmm. But the other person feels like they're giving their all to show you, but it's just not the way you receive love. Or on the flip side, you're the person who's like, man, I'm doing all I can, and he or she is still not satisfied. I don't think that is necessarily the case. It's maybe you're just not showing love in the way that they receive love, so it doesn't feel as significant. So just as much as identifying a love language, how you like to receive love is important, it's also important to identify how you give love. So for me, mine are different. Acts of service is the way that I show love, but I like to receive love in quality time.
Yeah, I was about to say that. I was going to say, why don't you talk about your love languages that you kind of gravitate to? I know you already said that you quality time. There's what are your 2 top ways that you like to receive love? Quality time and
I don't think I really identified a second one. Like,
and the test gives you 2, right?
I didn't take the test. I read the book.
You didn't take the test?
No, that's taking a shortcut.
Oh, you might. The test sometimes be surprising you because it gives you these scenarios you go through and be like, nah, this is it. You be like,
Nah, I know from reading the book that definitely quality time is my love language. Just the things that help you identify from reading the book, but then just knowing myself. Like, I know how significant it feels.
So is that the only way?
That I like to
Is it just quality
I think
time?
it feels the most significant to me. I would say that like acts of service would be next. Like obviously if someone is helping me out and I'm not feeling like I'm the only person that's bearing the burden, would definitely show me that they love me. That would feel significant to me for sure.
Yeah.
If I had to rank them, mine would probably, receiving gifts would definitely be last on the list. I'm not sure where words of affirmation and physical touch, they kind of compete with each other for third, depending on the day.
Depends how you feeling.
Yeah,
in the
and I mean,
moment.
sometimes I need to hear it, and sometimes I just need you to show it. So
Yeah,
it kind of varies for me. What about you?
For sure. I don't remember the test results, but I do remember I've taken it twice, and I do remember they were different. I took it while I was still married, and I think it was based on a lot of what I felt like I wasn't receiving in my marriage. But then when I took it a second time, my results had changed. So I think that's another interesting thing to know, that like people evolve, people change. So what served you in one season might not serve you in another, based on who you are and what your needs are in that moment. Right now, the most recent time I took it, just me knowing myself, physical touch has always been at the top. I'm touchy, I'm affectionate. That's the way I like to receive love. Quality time is up there. And lately, words of affirmation have been doing it too. Lately, those have been really shaking my tree.
Receiving gifts is both at the bottom for us. I think
Receiving gifts at the bottom, and acts of service.
See, I think that's interesting. Well, not that I didn't know that, but interesting that the way that I show love is at the very bottom for you.
Yeah.
So it means that I have to be conscious about feeling like the things that I'm doing around the house or maybe with the kids or whatever is a way that I'm communicating, look, I love you because I'm doing all of these things for you, and I make sure that you're taken care of, if it doesn't mean a lot to you.
So here's the thing. The way that you kind of pour out on me in that area is new to me. So I don't think I was able to identify that it's important to me until I had it. I can say that when you do those things, I legitimately feel an extreme feeling of gratitude. Like when I almost feel guilty. Not for real. Like
that's
when I'm like sitting down and I'm like chilling and I see you busting your butt, like you're cooking a meal, you trying to take care of your kids, and then you go from like just cooking the meal to like, now you make my plate. Like, now you don't just make my plate, but you like put the condiments on. Like, you don't just give me a baked potato. You cut the potato, you put the salt on. You like, you want bacon, you want cheese, what you need. It's like, wow. So I 100% feel love when you do those things. I'd be interested to retake it now.
Yeah, I was gonna suggest that at the end as like homework before we go live and talk about this episode, that we both retake the test and we can talk about our results there.
That's good. But I mean,
go ahead.
Nah, I just want to reiterate, like, I really, and also, even though it might not be a way that you receive love, I think the key is to always make people feel appreciated. Like, yeah, giving might not be that much to me, but if you go out your way to just like go to the store and like, hey, I know you like this, here's a candy bar or something that you like, it's just like that feeling of appreciation that somebody did something for you on the basis of just love, care, concern. Like, yeah.
I mean, I get that, because I think even if you don't identify with one as being your top way to receive or even to show love, the fact is that they all are representations that someone loves you. If someone's taking the time to do any of those 5 things, it is their attempt to show that they at least care for you in a significant manner. So acknowledging that, even, again, like Russell said, even if it's not your top love language, like, don't be like, oh, why you give me this? I just wanted to spend time with you. Like, yeah, that's probably not the best way to handle it. So being open enough to be adaptable to your partner's love language. If Russell was to give me a gift, obviously I wouldn't be like, I don't like that or whatever. But also knowing that the person who is receiving, so me, it's not like a huge deal to me.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't ever want you to feel like, oh, she felt really good when I gave her that gift, so now I'm going to keep giving her gifts. You know what I'm saying? Because you got a certain reaction out of me. I appreciate everything that you do.
Yeah.
But it's just some stuff that means more to me. I think we had a little part that we had to work through when we were talking about this, because when I said that quality time is my love language, I think you felt like any time that we spent together was quality time.
Oh yeah, we together.
And for me, that's absolutely not the case. Like right here, right now, we're together, but we're working. It's not quality time for me. So if we spent all of our time together just doing things, being with the kids, doing podcast stuff, working on our other businesses, but we never had time to just be us together, that would be a problem for me.
It's like the idea that your time together is about being with one another, not just being around each other.
Yeah, there's quality to the time that we spend together. It's not about just the quantity of time that we spend together.
That's good.
So
that's good. I think that's to me. I think it's valuable information for people to know. Like, just being around each other doesn't mean it's quality time. Like, it's intentionality behind these things. Like, yeah, you might have brought home groceries, and in the groceries might have been something that you know she likes, but it's just the intentionality of all of these languages are kind of like null and void if you're not intentional in why you're doing it and making it known. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I just, a specific couple comes to mind when I think about what quality time means to either of them, right? I'm not going to say their names. Come on, let's not do that. But I'm just going to lay out the scenario because I think it's something that a lot of people may be able to relate to. So quality time is one of the partner's love language. And so the other partner feels like if they're home with you, then y'all are spending quality time together. So y'all could be in separate rooms. Y'all could be just not talking, you know, but I'm here. So when the partner complains like, we just don't spend no time together. And then the response is, well, I'm always home. I come home every day. I do this, I do that. And it feels like what you're communicating is not, you know, lining up with what is actually being shown. Yeah. So I just think lining out what each thing means to you, because even if your love language is receiving gifts, but you get these expensive, extravagant gifts that have no meaning to you, it's not really serving your love language. So just knowing the title of the love language is not enough. You have to know what it means to the person that you're with, the idea behind it. For sure. And some people might want lavish things depending on who they are, but it's about knowing your partner and knowing what they need behind all this stuff, right? What do you think were like some of our moments that made you feel love? Can you think of like some things that we've done, or maybe moments that were like, man, I felt really loved in this moment? Oh yeah, the entire beginning of our relationship in the car. Like, I know that allowed me to grow very close to you in a short period of time. Yeah, because not only was it just no distractions, it was just us, and the things that we were talking about in that time was stuff that I think people who have been married and for 15 years hadn't talked about with each other. Yeah, like we was digging deep. We took the time to be very intentional, to be very thorough about who we were at that point, what we were looking for, what we needed, and we just laughed. We had fun, like we kicked it, we were silly, and that's what I need. I needed moments to just be Brandi and have somebody open up fully and understand that and love that about me, and that's what that time in the car allowed us to do. That's good. I didn't have to yell at no kids during that time. I didn't have to worry about a waitress interrupting us and what do you need? Like, it was just us for hours on end, for months on end. And I think it solidified a lot of things that I needed to know in order to open up and move forward very quickly. That's good. That's good. And I mean, I really enjoy just the times that we spend just not even really having much conversation, but just sitting on the couch watching our shows.
Yeah.
Like, that means a lot to me. The trips that we just take randomly, like when we just went to the Cheesecake Factory and the Chick-fil-A, like those things mean a lot to me because we weren't talking in the car. We were listening to audio stories or whatever those things are called.
Podcast.
But it was significant because it was just us.
Yeah. That's good.
What about you?
It's crazy because this is something that I don't even think is like a love language of mine. That it's low on my list, but when I think back to like, it was different. It was different. So I think we referenced this before. I had a rough day at work, and I came home, and you would put a Mountain Dew and a shot glass, and a shot glass with some Mountain Dew in there because you know I had stopped drinking. And you put the strongest pop you could find with a shot glass. And you even put like my name on it. It said number 4.
Number 4
on the shot glass. I was like, it was just intentional. I was like, wow, like you didn't stay. You just came there to give me that.
No, wasn't it there when you got off work?
It was there when I got off work.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like you literally just went out your way, dropped it off. What about your business?
Yeah.
Another time I was sitting at home. I was in my apartment, and you came and dropped off a coffee with a card. Just like it was these intentional things that even though like gift giving isn't like, well, why am I getting emotional? Love in the throat, Jesus. It was like,
cry,
yeah. I was just so dope that like you were going about your day, busy as all get out, but you were taking time out your day to just show like, you're thinking of me. You know what I'm saying? And I thought that was really dope. The other stuff to me is like, of course, like when we're together, it's always a vibe. Being in the car, those moments were unexpected to me. Like out of nowhere, I couldn't predict it. I'm just sitting out, go out, check outside real quick. And the thing is, I went outside, I didn't even see it. I just opened the door, was like, I'm talking about this weird. I went back out again. Oh. It was just dope. I really appreciated that.
So I'd be interested to know if you retake the quiz and gift giving is not closer to the top of your list.
I mean, those things were dope, but don't nothing compare to when that hand come across my back or you touch on this bald head. Lightning. When you touched my head after a fresh shave and we sit on the couch, lightning up my spine. I mean, lightning. Ain't gonna hold you up.
Or maybe that's not love. Maybe that's something else.
Nah, it's love. I feel and it's not always like, it's not sexual. It's just, it makes me feel really loved. Really loved. Yeah.
Okay. All right then.
That part.
So yes, we highly recommend reading the book and taking the quiz. If some of you wanted to, I'm not moving off of it, but I'm just taking a moment. Take a moment if you haven't taken the quiz to take it. And then when you hop on live, get ready to talk about if you learned something new about yourself or maybe it confirms some things. And then maybe see if you can get your partner to take it too. See what y'all learn about each other. I guarantee you that if you haven't done this and you're not implementing the things in your relationship, if you do, it will change the way that you all interact with each other. I was on the brink of, it wasn't even divorced. We weren't even married when we started reading this, but it did help us work past a really difficult time by just changing the way that we were intentional with each other. Ultimately, it didn't save my marriage, but it helped me realize where I was going wrong. And I think now that I'm in this relationship, I've had that experience and I'm like, yep. We're going to talk about this right now because I want to get it right the first time before things get irreparable. Yeah. So, it was good. I think this is a great book.
And this is why some of the things that we constantly talk about, and it's kind of like, what they never told us, like a 101, right? Some of our core points. Dating is for data, right? Shout out to my boy Darius Daniels. That's a quotable from him. Dating is for data, right? And it allows us to assess compatibility. And sometimes we think compatibility is like, oh, hey, you like this movie? Oh, I love that movie. Or you like this? Oh, I love that. Nah, it's not always that. It comes to how you need to feel loved and what comes natural to me, right? So if you're someone who requires a lot of personal space and a lot of personal time, and you prefer to be in isolation a lot with an occasional rubbing shoulders with your spouse, your partner, but most of the time you need a lot of recharge me time. Me and Brandi was just on the live talking about how she want to talk about going to a hotel room to recharge when she feels overstimulated. Now, if you're with someone who requires a lot of quality time, they want to be around you. They want to be up under you. They need physical touch. And a lot of their love language centers around you guys being together. Now we're talking about compatibility, because how you need to receive love is a way that I'm not naturally wired to be. And it requires boom, 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 a compromise of a great nature in order to kind of navigate those waters, right? Like if acts of service is how you receive love, but I'm naturally more self-absorbed or like me, like I'm never going to think to just get up and do the dishes. You feel me? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That might be an issue, and it causes us to have to kind of lean in on, okay, if I value this relationship and if I value this person and this is how they receive love, even though this isn't a way that I naturally am, it's really important to me that this person feels loved. So I need to meet them in the middle. And also, hopefully they can understand this ain't really me. This isn't the way I'm naturally wired. So it's going to take some time. There's a learning curve that I need so that I know how to wire and rewire myself to know, I got to do this. Man, I know I just got off of work and normally I would go straight to playing my video game. That's my like unwind time. Let me knock out these dishes because I know it'll mean a lot to her. Let me clean. Let her come home to a clean house. And I know that would mean something for her.
Yeah, and I think as the person who's recognizing that your partner is stretching beyond what comes natural to them, it is a good idea to always acknowledge when that is happening. So in the scenario that you outlined, if I see you doing the dishes, now it's, you know what, I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Or I'm leaning more in on what you need from me. You know, okay, babe, thank you for washing them. I got them. I'll put them up. Go ahead, play a game. I know that's your me time. So go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
Because it is very, very, very difficult to change your brain wiring on how you show love.
It's really difficult.
With words of affirmation, you saying that being something that you've picked up on recently as being something that you really enjoy, that is really hard for me. It is.
Words of affirmation?
Yes. I know
Really?
You don't feel that way because I'm making a concerted effort to do that.
Yeah.
But it is not something that comes naturally to me to be like, oh, you look good today. Oh, whatever it is that makes you feel loved and appreciated. I think with us, everything that we do is like amplified. So I want always to pour out into you. So I think encouraging you, I don't see that as words of affirmation.
Oh, see, that's what I was talking about.
So,
okay.
I know that in your brain because I know you're looking like, wait a minute, it's like what you do.
You be spitting. You're doing it a lot, actually.
I think for me, it's more of like the complimenting or the acknowledging.
Is that what words of affirmation is?
I think it's all of the above.
I was about to say,
I'm just saying one particular part that just doesn't come natural to me.
Okay, I got you.
Acknowledging if something is different, like, oh, you got your beard filled in or whatever. It looks good,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of something.
Got your beard
something different that you do on an occasional basis. You know what I'm saying?
I don't got a lot of options.
No, you don't. So that's why I kind of
all
I
got is the beard.
Put some Beijing on your face, a little paint on you. It looks good when you do it, though, babe. I'm just here to tell you that. I would listen. This is what happens when you try to think of examples on the fly.
Go on with your little comment.
Anyway, what I was saying was that is a stretch for me, but it's something that I intentionally try to do just in case that means something to you. You know what I'm saying? I know it's not high on your list.
Yeah,
but I also know that it feels good to be acknowledged. Like, and I know that it's something that whether you acknowledge it or not, you always do for me. So I at least want to match your energy in that area.
Do you like that? I've always gotten the vibe that you don't really care for it.
It's not my. It's
you
not
seem
like
so uncomfortable.
It's not uncomfortability, but it's like I don't know how to respond to it. It's like
You're so
you extra in all that you do. So it always be like just the staring that happens, like. And then I look over and you continue to stare and I'm like, what? I just love you. You just look good. You're doing your thing. And I'm like,
you're doing your thing is something I've never said.
Whatever.
You're not going to put on no freakum dress in front of me and I'm just going to act like it's a regular Tuesday.
That's why I don't even wear freakum dresses. But anyway.
Not a freakum dress. I don't even know what that is. But you're not going to get dressed up to go somewhere with me. I got on a suit. You obviously have got on a beautiful dress or something. And I'm just going to be like, oh, you ready to go? Nah. Oh my God.
Yes, it's that.
You want me to just think it? No,
you just be like, you look good, babe. But you'd be like, oh, my beautiful black queen. You look so
look at you. Stop the world. Everyone take a picture. Look at her. I cannot believe. Look at her.
How do you respond to that? So I just roll my eyes and move along.
Man, I feel like,
I do feel like as much as you do it,
yeah,
I owe that to you to compliment you as well. Where there are times that I may think it in my head like, oh, he look good today, but I need to verbalize that.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
I'm gonna think it.
There's a part of both of us, I think, that's kind of like that likes to pick and antagonize a little bit. I have fun with it. I know you do too, because you pick on me too, but I do get a little excitement when I see you like like when I fawn over you and you get a little uncomfortable. I do enjoy it a bit.
So weird.
But I mean, like compliments to me, they are nice and it feels good. So I don't want to minimize it. But for me, it's more of the just confirmation, right? Like I think I present confident. I think I present balanced in terms of like a healthy ego. So I know I don't get that a lot. I pour out a lot of that. You know, I mean, like, yo, you can do yada yada, but I don't get it a lot. So when someone when I'm about to do something, and I'm more transparent with you about when I'm worried about something, you know, so for you to just tell me like, yo, come on, like what we doing? Like, even when you like just present or even have an expectation to me like, yo, what's up? What we doing? What's next? You need to release that song. Like you wake up one day and be like, hey, you know that song you did? It's time. What we doing with that? It makes me feel like, wow, like if she has this type of like belief in me, who am I like to like be pessimistic about it? Like, man, no one's gonna like this, or you know, or be like, hey, did you call this person yet? Let's get this started. Like, it's like you in your mind, you're sure that I can accomplish
100%.
And when I hear it in your verbals, like it literally makes me feel like I can do anything. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, and I get that. And I think that comes from a place of just pure love.
Yeah.
It is not anything that I'm trying to do. It's not anything that I feel like you need from me.
Oh, I need it.
It is just, no, even if you do, that's
not
like why I'm doing it. It is just because I love you and I want you to win 100% of the time. And from jump, I've told you, like, you're amazing. Like, what are you doing? Why are you living below your standard? Like, what's happening here? Get your life together.
All right, calm down. You calm down. How about that?
But that is never faded. And I think in most circumstances, it is intensified. Like, being with you has obviously awakened some things that I'm like, yo, he's like really a dope individual. Like, and so if there's any time where I'm like, all right, he ain't doing what he's supposed to do. Like, I know just from talking, I got stuck talking to you. That like he needs to hear that he can do this. And so I think what that goes back to is really understanding your partner and understanding what they need, even though they can't verbalize it. Yeah. And while it is in line with love languages, this book or these 5 types are not the end all be all. There are 100 more ways to show that you love somebody. And
that's where we in sync, because I was just about to go into that.
that you love somebody or how you receive love. So it's just about understanding who you're with and communicating your needs and listening and being open when they're communicating there.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the love languages that exist that maybe aren't covered in this book. And maybe it's not necessarily a love language. And I'm sure most of that can be found in this.
Somewhere in there, yeah.
Yeah, but let's talk about some of the nuanced niche love languages. Do you have something that makes you feel loved that necessarily, like for me, laughing,
Yes.
like I can't be with somebody if I cannot laugh from my gut with you.
Just having fun. And I don't know, I guess you could niche that into quality time.
Yeah.
But just being able to be 100% myself where I can be as goofy as I want to, that to me shows me, one is showing you hopefully that, look, I trust you. I love you. This is something that not everybody in the world gets. You're getting unique access to the person that you're with. And it shows me that, like, when we're that way and you're not like, what are you doing? Like, why are you dancing like that? Why are you singing when you know you can't sing?
I do be looking at you like that.
You do, but you enjoy all of it. Do not lie.
Oh no, it's a show. It's a show. But then when I stay, look, this is what I deal with. Okay,
you're veering from your point.
Nah, I'm gonna come back. Brandi will be putting on an entire Broadway production, a one-woman show while cooking dinner, right? And then if I'm just watching the show, it's, why are you staring at me, girl? You just did the splits in the kitchen, came up twerking to Kirk Franklin, and and you expect me not to watch? Like, why am I gonna watch First 48 when there's a whole show going on?
Can we just put out there that is a complete made up scenario? And
it's a made up scenario. Now let me ask you this: would you?
Would I twerk to
Kirk Franklin? Yes.
No. Maybe KB, but not Kirk Franklin. Sorry. I do have a tendency.
I can't even do this show if we're not going to be honest.
I do have. It's not, Kirk Franklin doesn't have twerkable beats. I don't. I said maybe KB, maybe Lecrae.
No, that's not twerk. I'm gonna play some Kirk.
I've danced to some Maverick City.
What's that Thai trip with that? Working that.
Yeah, but in my defense, I spent a lot of time in the world. I've only had
you ain't got to defend nothing.
I only had like 3 good years.
Who is you
saved.
defending
I'm not
for?
Just saying. I only had like 3 good years being saved. So I haven't mastered the saved dancing yet.
All I'm saying,
when that beat drop on some of them gospel songs, all I know is, hey.
Okay, don't do that. Calm down. All I'm saying is, back to my point. Be putting on a whole show, but then when I'm staring, it's like, what is you looking at? What?
Okay, but the point is, that's my process. Like, I am goofy.
I'm going to look.
I do ridiculous things. I don't need you to point them out.
I'm going to watch. I don't be pointing them out to be looking like.
But anyways, yes, that is something that is not in this book. Just having fun, being goofy, being silly, that I believe is a way that I show and receive love. If you are comfortable enough to be your full self with me, like, I'm like, okay, he's good. He trusts me. He loves me. Like, he's not worried about me judging him. There are some parts of that scare me.
What?
You being you 100%. However, I welcome them until they get here.
They hear what you're talking about.
I know.
I be having to turn down myself. I don't like it. I'm trying to baby step you.
Are we calling this episode The Great Compromise? Because
we here now.
It's one of those things.
I'm baby stepping you there. I think I'm gonna wait till we married and then.
You can't do that. That's
here
not
you
fair.
are. Got you.
It's not fair.
Hey, good morning, love. Welcome.
It's not fair.
Got you.
Anyway, what are some other ways?
I said mine. You got to get one.
No, I did. I said being goofy. It's your turn.
No, that was my point,
no,
and you just piggybacked.
You said having fun.
I know. I said laughing from my guy. So yeah, being goofy. Yeah. It's the same thing.
So now it's your turn. Go ahead. So
y'all see what I did? I already got one. And it could be in the same vicinity, but I need like banter, witty banter, sarcasm, kind of like snapping each other, like, you're well versed in this.
Yes.
But witty, sarcastic, like you did. It's like flirtatious. It's fun, but it makes me feel.
Sarcasm is my second language,
and I feel like it might be like on the same cusp as like just the levels of our relationship that kind of teeter on just like a true friendship that we have, right? It's not romantic in nature, but it's just a dynamic that we have between us that makes me feel loved. And it's like a way I communicate love. Like if I don't pick with you, I don't really like you like that.
So for me, it's like sharing is one, like being open enough to pour like your feelings onto me, but also sharing in experiences. Yeah. That's very important to me. Like, we're both very spiritual beings, but if like you didn't want to share that with me, like if that was just so personal for you that like you didn't feel comfortable, pouring out, crying in worship, to me, like, or you didn't want to show that to me, that would feel like, what is that? What's something there? But the fact that we share in that experience together is just another way that I think communicates our love for one another and for what we have. So again, I think the way that we express that could be, again,
you can find them in
qualified in some of those things, but what it, again, I think it just goes back to what it means to you in your relationship.
Why isn't sex a love language? Is that in physical touch?
Yeah, it's like intimacy, all that's classic.
You
have to physically touch someone in order to have sex with them.
Do you?
You do. It's not sex. Like it might be something else, but it ain't sex. Sex is described as.
Nah, I saw some. Okay, you're a child. How do I even, like, first of all, for the people that just listen to the audio, sex is, and that noise is going to be sick. That's one. Two, for the people on YouTube, you child.
I'm just saying.
Hand clap for Brandi right now. Thank you. I'm here for it.
There are people who needed a tutorial on
what was that noise? I'm not, okay. I don't even know what I was about to say.
It's been that long?
What are we talking about? It's been that long. What are we talking about? I don't even know what we're talking about. Oh, no, I was going to say, I saw this tantric joint on HBO, and they did make no contact.
Hold on. First of all, anybody who has been rocking with us long enough knows that I have brought this moment up a bajillion times.
Can I go into it?
Now all of a sudden, it's your moment that you saw?
I saw that episode as well. I mean, do you think you're the only person that saw that episode? All right. We've talked about it. I've seen that.
That this is the equivalent of me being like, yo, our intro song, I heard that and I thought it would just be so great.
Huh? If you literally had heard the song before this.
No, but I'm saying I hadn't.
I have seen that episode.
Okay.
Did you?
I had heard the song. You sent it to me in a dedication.
Had I not? Okay. I don't know how this became about you.
It's not about me.
I'm gonna move forward. It's not about with the general point I was going to make. But they seemed like they was having bomb sex and didn't touch at all.
It wasn't sex.
Nah. You got it messed up. It was tantric sex.
No, they were achieving orgasm by means of frequency or whatever it was. I don't know what
you don't
frequency know. Waves and sounds like a bunch of evil. They was just standing in front of
each other.
Yeah, but that wasn't sex. It's just like when you masturbate and you achieve an orgasm. It's not sex.
What?
It's not sex. This is not the sex episode, but I'm just saying it's not sex. Sex is penis entering vagina.
So why is oral sex not sex? Huh? Is oral sex not sex?
It's not sex.
So why is it oral sex?
It's fellatio.
Why is it oral sex?
Oral sex is a slang term. Yes, it is. Right. It's called fellatio.
All right.
Intercourse.
All right. Moving on, because it's not the sex episode. And we just going to be here for 30 minutes talking about different variations of sex.
It's falling. We're talking about physical touch is what we're talking about. The ways that it can be
This is why Mormon children are so tangled right now, because they
Mormon children? That's such a generalization.
No. I saw this whole deep dive on things they do to avoid having sex, but still have sex. Like, I can't remember what it was called, but the male was literally entering the female. They wouldn't hump. They wouldn't go in and out. He would just go inside and they would hug.
What do you be watching?
This was on. There was his thing right on TikTok, and it said. So it was a Mormon girl. She was like, so most of you guys don't know this happens, but I promise you this happens all the time in Mormons. And they were talking about it. They'll hug. They'll just hug. They won't hump none. They'll just get erect, achieve stimulation, enter the female, and just hug and lay together.
That's sex. If the penis enters the vagina, it's sex.
Then they'll have a friend jump on the bed while they're just hugging to create but to them, I'm not doing it. We're hugging. And the person's jumping on the bed until climax is achieved. And that to me is like, y'all might as well have just did it. Like, what is happening? I can't remember what it was called, but it was the craziest thing. I'm like, I can't believe this is happening.
How did we get here?
We were talking about, I don't know.
Any opportunity you get to just bring up some
everybody listen right now is on Google right now, like Mormon sex hugging. I'm gonna find out what it is. I'm gonna be back.
So weird. Anyway, back to the 5 love languages, because that's what we came here to talk about.
How did we?
Yeah.
Get here?
I don't even know how to proceed. So
back to the 5 love languages. So yeah, physical touch. I don't know.
It has multiple meanings, whatever it means to you, just define that. Again, it is not just about sex. Russell and I express physical touch with each other all the time. That is in a non-sexual manner. And what?
I did see this, and this is before I knew about the love languages. There was this pastor. He was doing this study on, and once again, I think it was before this was even a thing, but it was talking about the 5 top needs for a man and the top 5 needs for a woman. Now, how you would just generalize that is just crazy to me. There. But it was like a sought after, like, teaching. But it was sex for a man
being the top. Yeah.
And shared interest / activity to providing yada yada yada. And then they had the top needs for a woman, and it was literally the man's list in reverse.
Yeah.
In reverse. And it was like, that's interesting. But before this even existed, I was just like, oh, that's deep.
I think that's such a misnomer. Like,
it's such a misnomer.
I hate that, like, women are the non-sexual beings in a relationship as a generalization. That just irritates me.
Or that the man is, like, I was a little baffled, but I met a guy who said, like, yeah, man, like, me and my girl having issues, and the issue was she wanted to have sex. And he was like, it's just not important to me. Like, I literally, like, once a month and I'm good. I was baffled. I was like, really?
I think it is I don't think it's as rare as we think.
Yeah.
However, I do believe that just the societal views on all of that, it would, even if it isn't as big of a factor for a man, it's almost like you're less of a man if it isn't. So you put on more than what it necessarily means to you.
For sure.
Yeah, it's stupid.
It is.
I'm a highly sexual being, and I can guarantee you that I'll probably be the protagonist in this relationship when we get married.
Oh, you got me messed up. You got me messed up. I can't wait to get married.
It's going to be a whole competition.
You got me messed up. Competition. You got another round? I do if you do.
We're just obviously not talking about the 5 love languages
5
anymore.
love languages. Back to the love
Totally move past that.
But let's kind of unpack, like, what we talked about, why this episode is called The Great Compromise.
It's called The Great Compromise because although it is possible to find someone who receives love exactly the way that you give it and gives love exactly the way that you like to receive it, 9 times out of 10 is probably not going to be the case.
Yeah.
And you can spend your lifetime searching for that person. Good luck to you if that's what you choose to do. But most of the time, it's going to have to be some form of a compromise. And again, any way that you show love, it is an indication that you love that person.
Yeah.
But just tailoring your actions to make sure that what what you're giving is being received in the way that you intended. And if it's not, being open enough to tailor that to suit how your partner likes to receive love. Understanding what that means to you is super important, because again, just quality time, you have to be able to articulate what quality time means to you. It is not, in most cases, or let's just say in our case, it's not just being with each other. I want quality to the time that we spend with each other.
Yeah. Same thing with anything, physical touch. Like, yes, we're on the couch together and your feet are cold and they're under my thigh, but that might not be the physical touch that makes me feel loved. Like, hold my hand, rub my back, like, let me touch you. Like, let's intentionally touch for the sole purpose of just communicating love. You know what I mean?
Yes. Did you talk about how you show love?
I don't know. I can't remember. How I like to show love is physical touch, quality time. Now, once again, this was when I took the test some time ago. But quality time, physical touch, and words of affirmation are kind of my ways. Mm. Yeah. I think if I had to rank them, physical touch would be at the top.
I would agree with that. Between physical touch and words of affirmation.
Okay.
Just being as the person of the receiving end of your love.
Our time isn't quality?
Huh?
Our time ain't quality?
I just don't think that's a way that you show love. Our time is definitely quality. I just don't think that is a way that you show love.
Why not?
Because the other two happen more often. I mean, we have to be with each other in order for you to touch me. It's kind of like a requirement.
So when I pull up and sit in the car for 3 months, you don't think I care about quality time?
I just think you wanted to be around me.
Quality time.
Listen, it's just not a way that I think, as the person who is receiving love from you, I don't think like the intentional, hey babe, let's go do this. It's not a way that you show love to me. I think why I'm harping on this is because it's one of your top ways you like to receive love. Yeah. So I want to make sure that you're feeling that. Okay, well then ask ways that you can make sure that I'm feeling that, so instead of inserting the fact that you do it. So when I'm telling you as the person, I don't feel less love from you. Let's be clear about that. I'm saying specifically in terms of that being your top love language, are you saying you're not feeling that from me? I don't feel that is a top way that you naturally show love. Oh, okay, thank you. Lord, Jesus in a manger. Naturally, it's important. It is important, but I mean, if we're ranking the ways that you show love as the person receiving that, I don't feel like quality time is high on your list. At least not quality time in the way that I like it. I do think you make intentional steps to spend time with me. However, I think you more naturally show your love through words of affirmation and physical touch. Yes. And again, in order for you to touch me, we have to be together. So I know ways to make that feel like quality time for me. I don't think you go into it with that. And it's not a negative thing. It's just what it is. I don't feel less love from you. Okay. I got you. All right. I do, for just as somebody that's with you, I would like for you to feel more so that's, even if it's something that I don't naturally do, that you feel like I'm intentionally showing quality time. Yes, I have to touch you to be around you or be touched by you. But when we're sitting on the couch just watching TV, right? Like, it's intentional. Okay, so stay off your phone. But you be on your phone. I get on my phone because you're on your phone. Yikes. Uh-huh. Let's move on. Let's do it. No, let's move on. This is going nowhere. This is going nowhere. Right. It's coming off very like you're not getting what you need. No. Stay off your phone. When I clearly just said I don't feel less love from you. Then stay off your phone. I'm just saying, I think the conversation would have gone better if you said, "Oh, I'm sorry that you're not feeling that. I was trying to establish that." Like, it didn't feel like that. It felt like you were trying to defend the fact that you actually do spend quality time with me. Okay. And I'm telling you, I'll work on that. Appreciate it, and I'll, I don't think, again, that our relationship suffers any by that not being the top way that you show me that you love me, because we still do it. We still spend quality time together. I had to tell you, we had to qualify what quality time meant.
So what are some things that I can do to make you feel like the time is more quality?
I just told you, I do feel like when we're in our moments where, let's say we're watching shows or we're doing something and you pick up your phone and you start watching TikToks or something like that, it feels like you're not present with me.
Okay.
And so for me, again, it's the quality of the time. It doesn't feel like just because we're sitting on the couch together, if you're in your phone and I'm in my phone, that's not quality time.
Okay.
So, and I can tell you that in order to make that more obvious when we're in that, instead of as a response when you go to your phone, me picking up my phone, and then we're just lost in these worlds, I can just say, and I think I did say this to you the other day, put your phone down. So I won't do that as a response if it starts to feel that way. It doesn't feel like that to me.
Okay.
I feel max love. If there's a bar, I'm there. It's not lacking. It's just that I don't think that that's a way that you naturally show that you love me. And there's nothing wrong with that.
It is. I'm
because
competitive.
you do compromise in those areas.
I'm a lover. If that's your language, I'm about to Rosetta Stone that out of it. I'm about to learn it fluently. That's why I'm sitting here taking breaks. What you mean?
It wasn't a diss towards you.
It wasn't a diss, but as somebody who wants to love you in a way that is efficient, I don't like getting a bad report.
That's not a bad. Okay.
I feel like, look, you can't tell me how I receive it. That's how it hit me. Not it's a bad report. Okay, you said max love. I feel you, but there's some ways that I can improve on the time that we spend together and making it feel more quality. If that's your top love language, I just want to make sure I'm doing that.
Yeah. Okay.
And it surprised me. I was a little, what you mean, huh?
I mean, but so you
this is a good
understand that,
example.
as us spending quality time together, I feel like my bucket is filled in that area. I don't feel like it's lacking, because when I say things like, hey, let's go to Cheesecake Factory, you don't hesitate to do that. Hey, let's go for a drive and look at houses. You don't hesitate to do those things. So even though it's not the way that you're showing me that you love, I still get it. Even if it's sometimes I have to initiate it. Okay. I still get it.
For sure.
So I'm not complaining.
I got you.
All right.
It's all good.
You sure?
I'm sure. It's just, how I feel about learning stuff on a podcast. I'm like, huh? Wait. I said, hold on. Wait, what you trying to say? Hold on.
Oh,
you don't get quality time?
Help me.
You say, yeah, stay off your phone. What? You be on your phone. Wait a minute. That's why if I don't feel no ways, but it caught me off guard. Let me feel how I feel. I caught off a little off guard. I wanted to inspect and get to the root of it. Hold on. What is it you trying to say? Oh, okay. All right,
y'all. The 5 Love Languages, The Secret to Love That Lasts by Gary Chapman. Again, a lot of variations of this particular book here, but I believe it is a must read for anybody seeking to be in a relationship or already in a relationship. It's great. I don't know where he come from and what type of anointing is on his life, but he did it with this book.
There's a men's edition, there's a women's edition, singles edition, married edition. There's love languages for children to parents, parents to children. There's love languages for friendships. There's so many different ways that he's kind of flipped this idea of communicating love to somebody and doing it in an intentional way, just to make sure people feel loved in your life and feel valued. And I don't think that you can do relationships right and do this wrong.
And although we are not getting paid for this. So trust, this is an honest opinion of this book and of these.
You just got a huge
categories.
Dang,
yeah, all
Gary,
100 people that listen to our podcast now know. They should.
It's 1,000 listens we got. Okay, it's 1,000 people.
Again, the website, if you just want to take the quiz, is the number 5. So just 5lovelanguages.com.
Send us a check, Gary.
Come on.
Whoever your company is, send us a check. Who your people? Northfield Publishing, send us a check. Okay.
And then again, if you want to, we're going to take the test again before we go live on Wednesday. And if you all want to take the test and let us know your results and kind of talk about what you learned or maybe what you didn't learn about your love language or your partner's love language, I think that's going to be a great discussion, and talk about kind of what you do or how do you approach it when you're not getting that. Obviously, what you just saw here was an example of how we work through communicating maybe that my top love language is not being seen as the one of the ways that he shows love, and him making a commitment to do better. And if ever the situation is flipped and I ain't touching on this bald head or rubbing his back enough, I'm sure he will be more than ready to tell me about it. And that's how we gonna stay in love forever.
That part.
All right. Hit us up on all of our social media,
Yes.
which should be linked below. Again, we will always take the time to say thank you to everybody who supported us by either Cash App or writing a review or sharing a post or just talking about us on social media. That is the way that we get out there to the world. Our platform is growing and we appreciate it. As we near the end of the season, we're going to take a much needed break to recharge our batteries, but knowing we coming back hard with season 2 at the beginning of the year. And we are open for topics. If you want to email us or inbox us on any social media platform. All of that stuff is
below. And once again, next episode, the day it's released, that night, November the 23rd, we will be going live for a special season wrap party. Okay, we're wrapping up the first season. It's our first season. I think we've spoken a lot about how we've kind of exceeded expectations with what we thought this was going to be, and it's grown past that, and that's all because of you guys. So we just want to celebrate that. We want to celebrate each other, so join us. It's not going to be down here. It's not going to be this setup. We're going to be in a different location, but it's going to be dope. Don't come to the live unless you put on a shirt that has buttons.
Don't say that, because then people won't come.
They're going to come. They're going to come correct. It's a season wrap gala. Put on your Sunday's best. But yeah, no, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be dope. We're planning to do some special things, some interviews and stuff like that. So yes, we're looking forward to that. Hope you're looking forward to it too, and it's gonna be fun.
And always remember, we love love.
Y'all should love too.
Peace out.
Deuces.